world was about to end. Dignity.
Look out, boy. Better watch your tail. Your tail just might end up in jail. There's one bad dick, he's on your trail. Dick Tracy.
Welcome to Marvelous or the Death of Cinema, the autopsy of the contemporary franchise blockbuster and its precedents. Today we're talking about the Warren Beatty directed, uncreditedly written, and starring and produced Dick Tracy movie from 1990, which if you're me and Nicole's age, you may remember seeing ads for it in front of VHS tapes like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and being like, well, that's some shit I don't care about.
I thought it was colorful. I always kept it in the back of my mind, and it finally got around to watching it this year.
I always was like vaguely remembered it, but it wasn't like, because like Tremors or something had the trailer for Darkman, which came out the same year, and I remember that trailer was like really like good, like electric. And the Dick Tracy, I found the Dick Tracy VHS trailer. It's not a very good trailer.
They play it
even for the movie.
They play it
not particularly. Not when you're an adult. When you're a kid, you're like, "Ooh, look at these pretty colors. Why does that guy look like that?"
They play it in the second Dick Tracy special. They actually play.
Yes, they do.
Oh yeah,
which is very funny because it has the I guess technical Madonna nude scene in it, but it would have been at VHS resolution, so no one could have made out that it was her titties.
It is crazy that in this
people in the theater would have seen.
Oh yeah,
that she was just like full headlight blasting.
This movie is rated PG, and her top is so sheer you can just see her tits.
You see her nipples.
I mean,
you can see her nipples. I watched this movie with my goddamn mom. She didn't notice, but I looked at her for a second. I was like, "Did you see that? That was Madonna's tits."
Oh, I noticed.
You did.
I didn't notice until the Dick Tracy special. Actually, it was really fun.
I noticed. But I mean, I have a thing about sheer fabrics, so like I always notice.
Oh.
Do you think they were doing because there's that not even an urban legend, it's just a fact that they were blasting the AC on the
set of Friends.
For the set of Friends. For a while, just to get like women showing their hard nipples underneath their shirts, which is very gross. But
Jennifer Aniston was blasting high beams all the time on that show.
Do you think Warren Beatty was doing that on the set of Dick Tracy with Madonna? Because I think they kind of had a fling.
I don't think his penis works.
Did you see that top? He didn't need to. Man, you just see right through that thing.
That's true, but they were looking pointy. They were looking pointy.
First of all, Italian women have naturally hard nipples. It's part of they got it from when they interbreeded with the Africans, but
is that why Madonna can say it?
That's why Madonna can say it.
I'm pretty sure she said it.
Oh, of course. Every star,
if not on a song, I'm pretty sure in one of her sort of weird old boomer Instagram caps.
Every star that's been around for like 45 years or more has said the N-word. And so, like, Cher's probably said the N-word. Fucking Michael Jackson actually was really weird about not saying the N-word. I think that was part of his, like, age regression kink.
I'm not gonna say it. That's a bad word.
I ain't gonna say it. that word hurtful. But yeah, I first saw this movie a couple years ago because it would get posted a lot on Twitter, like just scenes and screenshots from it. Yeah. It's a very screenshotable movie.
Every frame a painting core.
No, great, wonderful movie to look at.
I'm gonna go out on a hot take here. This movie's set design is better than Batman 89, even if I would rather watch Batman 89.
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah, you might have a case there. It's a little apples and oranges for me, but like
that's fair.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I feel like Batman 89 has some similar problems where it's like but I think like the Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne is a more interesting character to follow around than Dick Tracy.
Is a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's also a movie that feels like really kind of carried by its production design and its aesthetic more than anything else. Yeah, okay. So this is like a hard movie, like if we were to kind of work through the plot or summarize it, because it's kind of
it doesn't have one.
It barely has a plot.
It's kind of a collection of. It does sort of feel like the pacing and structure almost kind of feels like if you read a bunch of comic strips, you've just got like a bunch of like micro plots and scenes.
Yeah.
That just like, kind of follow one after the other.
You have characters that recur throughout them, but each one kind of has a beginning, middle, and end. Because there's like 4 separate gigantic crime waves that happen in this movie, and though they kind of have a through line through the same characters, they all also kind of have like a beginning, middle, and end.
There isn't like one rising or falling action.
Yeah. Like it's weird. It feels like three sort of TV short. Like, you know, when Disney was like out of money and they would just like take 3 episodes of the cartoon and be like, okay, that's Aladdin 4 now, fuck it, and they'll just release it.
Yeah. That was Aladdin 2. Was just like the like multi-part, like the first few episodes of the Aladdin TV show.
Exactly. Like that's what this movie feels like. Is like it's the pilot and then maybe the beginning of the third of the second 2-parter, you know, is this movie.
Well, there's that whole, because in like the third act, or what would be a third act in a more conventionally structured movie, he gets framed.
Yeah.
And then it's like 10 minutes later, it's like everybody knows he's innocent.
Yeah.
It like barely matters. That's like a whole movie's plot.
Yeah, that's right, an entire movie worth of action. Like, you could just make the movie about that, but Warren Beatty doesn't want to.
A lot of movies get described as fever dreams. This movie feels like a fever dream.
It is bizarre.
Okay, I mean, but the bizarre elements of this, because I know this movie has we kind of missed out on it, despite being like the supposed age cohort this was kind of aimed at, because kind of like The Rocketeer, this is a movie that is ostensibly aimed at like a sort of more family-oriented audience because it's a Disney project, but it has so many like adult stuff in there, and so but we missed
a capital PG.
Yeah, but we missed sort of the there is a huge nostalgia for this movie amongst sort of like millennials our age, to the extent it is kind of championed as like, this is the best comic book movie ever. And I'm definitely not gonna make that claim here, but without a doubt, the artistic choices, the artistic choices of production design, like using that 7-color comic palette is very inspired. And then you have just the makeup effects for all we have never seen goons like this.
Oh yeah.
And we will never see goons like this ever again.
They wanted to match.
Yeah.
They wanted them to look like really literal renditions of the cartoon caricatures of the bad guys, so they gave them insane prosthetics.
They look like Garbage Pail Kids.
They do.
To give a little bit of context, the Dick Tracy strip, which was created by Chester Gould, as it went on, kind of took on a very surrealist tone to it, where you have all of these weird like mobsters who have personas, but they aren't really super villains. Like that's just who they are as a person. You know, you see it a lot in this character. So you have like Flat Top, for example, and he's just got a giant
he got a flat head
on the top, and that's it. That's the whole character, and it's an interesting way to give the characters some flavor. But it's fascinating because in this movie there's really no context for it at all, and it's very unilateral. Like, I think a better way, if you had to do the really awkward prosthetics in this movie, which I think is about 50-50 whether or not they work or not per character. To me, there's a lot that don't work and there's a lot that do. I think if you had to do those, you needed to give the good guys some kind of like prosthetics as well to make it seem like a heightened world. You know, Dick Tracy's got a very square jaw.
It is, yeah. You're only. It seems like only the villains have them.
Make his jaw like actually square.
Make his jaw actually square. Yeah. Exactly. Give Madonna like some weird thing on her. You know, maybe, you know, give Dick Tracy's girl, Tess, has got like she's very wiry, you know, maybe heighten that up in some way, but there's nothing there. It's entirely just on the bad guy's side, because Warren Beatty has to be the star, and he can't be the star under 10 pounds of makeup.
You know what? My mom, because I watched it with her, made kind of a good point or observation. Like I pointed out, I was like, look, his small face. He's got a big head and a small face. And she's like, you know, they look like that because it is a reflection of how corrupt and evil they are on the inside. And so they look like hideous mutant garbage pail kids. They look like what if you drew a Hey Arnold character as a real person? That's what they would look like. And I was like, you know what, Mom? I'm glad we watched this together. She had no idea what was happening in the movie, but neither did I. But
I think that's the kind of very binary conservative moralism of the comic. Is that way? Where it's like if you're fucked up and evil, you look fucked up and evil.
A little bit, yeah. They do have, like, again, it's a very deliberate stylization that was part of like a certain period, you know, as the art style kind of evolved. Because when it started off, I read some of the early strips. It's a very straightforward kind of crime narrative. He didn't even have the name Dick Tracy at first. It was just Plainclothes Dick for the first strip, and then they renamed it
Plainclothes Tracy, because Dick was
Tracy.
It's a
Plainclothes Dick. Plainclothes Dick is just a flasher pervert in the park.
Sorry, yeah. No,
flasher Dick Tracy. He opens up the yellow trench coat.
That has to be like a Family Guy bit, right?
The Flash, but he shows you his dick so fast you don't even realize you saw it.
You don't say it, yeah.
That has to be like a Family Guy or a Robot Chicken sketch of like Dick Tracy flashing people at a park. You know?
Oh no, is my humor that bad that we're comparing my rips to fucking Robot Chicken?
I mean, listen, like half the people that worked on Robot Chicken write the MCU now, so
yeah, fair.
Like, at least they're getting money. You know, you too one day could write the MCU.
I could.
Oh, God forbid.
I could. You'd have to kill me if I ever considered that, though. I'd be too far gone.
It would be really funny trying to throw someone like Nicole in who doesn't know anything about superheroes or the Marvel Universe, and they're just like, you're like trying to make it more artistic, but also you don't know anything about the characters.
No, I know too much. I know. I am smarter than to believe I could change things from the inside.
I wouldn't.
Smarter than that.
Not even changing things from the inside, but just like kind of doing like the Sam Raimi thing of just making like a little project for you within this corporate environment that's not going to turn out good, but it'll at least be pleasing to the self, you know. And you're just turning in like these really weird avant-garde scripts, and they're like, okay, but when does Spider-Man show up? You know, they never fire you in this hypothetical. Like they're just waiting, you know. They're like, well, maybe this will be the time that she just turns into a normal Spider-Man movie, and you're like, all right, he's gonna go to France and get fucked in the ass.
It's doing Velvet Goldmine with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out where to start with this. Do we want to start with the character, then work towards the movie, or? Sure.
Yeah. I mean, like, because even in 1990, kind of, I guess, similar to what Marvel had to do for Iron Man, where they were just marketing the idea of Iron Man itself, because the layman just did not know who Iron Man was outside of sort of your comic book nerds who are not the people you usually, like, not a demographic enough to really have a sizable box
Tracy
office return. They had to do that with Dick Tracy.
He was huge if you were like Greatest Generation,
old, yeah. Yes,
or like
if you were elderly,
like a boomer. Like 30s through the 50s, Dick Tracy was really, really huge.
Even he had a TV show. He had a cartoon in the 60s as well that I think was well received. But yeah, the 60s is kind of the downturn. So to kind of do a quick summary of the character, because he's honestly kind of like the movie, he's kind of the straight man. He's kind of the bland, square jawed protagonist that this weird, surreal world kind of revolves around. But he was created by Chester Gould as a newspaper strip. And he was, originally started off as a very straightforward kind of crime story. And then over the time got just slowly more over the top as Gould's own artistic skill increased. It also had some elements of, as it went on, like social satire, but originally it was part of the War on Crime, which was a sort of media initiative, or a period of social campaigning built around increasing awareness through media that organized crime was bad, and kind of convincing kids to stay in school and not bend the rules.
It was the era when Al Capone was still a going concern.
Exactly.
Was when the comic started. Started in 1931.
Tracy himself was based on Elliot Ness, who also inspired the character of the same name from The Untouchables, which is a sort of pseudo-fictional depiction of the early FBI and like federal crime bureaus. There was also like the G-men craze of just like having very square-jawed sort of noble protagonists that fought endless waves of crime. And so as Dick Tracy kind of needed to survive, it like a lot of pulps, it would shed parts of its identity to sort of better make it palatable to the audience. So like in the 50s, for example, there's like the atomic era of Dick Tracy, where the things take on a kind of like sci-fi bend, where he's stopping mad scientists or just gangsters that have teamed up with mad scientists. He, of course, had a bunch of serials. I watched the original 1937 Republic serial this morning. I watched about half of it, and it was pretty good.
How was that?
It was neat. They go for it's a very realistic interpretation of Dick Tracy. It's like very straightforward gangland. They made a sequel which teamed him up with the Dead End Kids, who, if you've ever seen Angels with Dirty Faces, were the sort of child group from that movie. That sort of had a brief celebrity stardom.
Oh, no, I've never seen.
Yeah, you've never seen that? It's a James Cagney classic, dude. And from there, like, he would, have the usual amount of exposure. He had a couple TV shows, both live action and animated. Couple serials after that as well. I think he had a total of like 4 separate serials. And
I think there were 4 Republic serials. Yeah. Then there was some hour-long RKO B features, and then a TV show, like really early TV show in the early 50s, when like only like 1% of people had a TV.
And Dick Tracy was kind of considered like the preeminent of the square-jawed detective types. He was in the 50s. He was ranked as the 3rd most popular comic book character, I think, behind Popeye, and I can't remember who the other one was. Might have been Flash Gordon. But he was big. He was really popular. He was kind of the preeminent of the square-jawed detectives. You had a lot of others like Rip Kirby and a million other like shitty DC Comics features like Roy Raymond TV Detective. I never thought I'd managed to work Roy Raymond TV Detective into an episode of the show.
I've never heard of that guy.
Oh my god, he was Detective Comics was an anthology, and you'd get your Batman story, and then you get like your other bullshit, and they would just try a bunch of things. For a while they did Martian Manhunter. For a while there was like Slam Bradley, and Roy Raymond TV Detective was one they did in I think the 50s.
Some guy named like Block Whitman.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all these and he was just like a TV guy who would like either like somehow break up like a local crime racket, or like do like hoax debunking, which was a really big thing in comics at the times, is like, just showing kids, because it was a way of doing the supernatural without doing the supernatural. So you have a straightforward haunted house, and then it's like,
like Scooby-Doo.
Like Scooby-Doo, exactly. Mm-hmm. And Roy Raymond TV Detective is just a shittier version of that. He has a brief cameo in Darwin Cook's New Frontier. which is how most people probably know him. But anyways, Dick Tracy was wildly popular. The strip ran for decades, I think, until the 1970s.
No, Chester Gould retired in the mid 70s, which was when it was like really at rock bottom, but it's still going. Like
it's still going.
It's like any newspaper strip. It just doesn't die. They never go away.
It got brought over to comics. I think Dan DiDio, the ex-owner or the ex-editor-in-chief of DC, started his own company, Mad Cave, that kind of does these Dick Tracy comics that are very straightforward. He also does like Flash Gordon.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people would have read, because they just started publishing the newspaper strip in monthly comic form.
Exactly.
They would just kind of slightly tweak and arrange it into what would fit into a monthly book too, which is probably how a lot of kids would have read it.
Yeah,
and that's where you'd get. I skimmed some scans from the 40s of the Harvey Comics prints of the newspaper strips, and that's where you'd get them in full color with the yellow coat.
And Harvey Comics was huge about that. Yeah. And yeah, right. The original yellow coat, because the newspaper comic was in black and white. So once he came, it wasn't until he jumped over to comics that he really got the iconic yellow coat. In fact, if you watch the earliest Republic strip, I think it's a white hat with a black band around it, which does kind of look yellow because it's black and white, and it can kind of look like any very, very neon fluorescent color. But yeah, he didn't have the yellow trench coat and the yellow hat until the 40s, after he jumped over to comics, and that became like the sort of second big arm of Dick Tracy, because those Harvey Comics newspaper, I mean, that was their whole business. They did Rip Kirby, they did The Spirit, I think, and yeah, they just would partner up with newspaper comics and do reprints, and those were kind of like your catch-up books, you know. So if you were someone who didn't understand and wanted to get in, you'd buy those in the way that you would buy like a trade paperback now.
Or if you're just like a kid and you can't get a hold of dad's newspaper.
Exactly, because he's using them to beat the dog.
Down, boy.
And the wife. He's just going to town.
You ever see that old ad from the 50s, a print ad of a J.R. Bob Dobbs type pipe smoking paternal figure giving his wife a spanking, and it's like, don't serve him the wrong brand of coffee.
Yeah, no, a lot of misogynistic advertisement, which is to say most of it.
No, I actually hadn't seen that, but now I wish that would happen to me. I wish I would like to be the wife in that scenario where I'm just getting beaten for bringing the wrong type of coffee. It's fun when it's kink, but it's fucked up when it's advertising.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then from then to here, we kind of have the cultural nadir of Dick Tracy before we get to this movie, because Warren Beatty has the full blown rights to Dick Tracy, like not just he has the license to the film rights. I believe he owns everything except the comic rights to Dick Tracy, and maybe even owns the comic rights. I actually don't know. I know he owns a pretty sizable chunk of like the media licensing rights, hence the fact that like if you're a Zoomer, you're like, what the fuck is Dick Tracy? I've never even heard of this, because there hasn't really been anything Dick Tracy since this movie other than
we'll
get into that.
We'll get to that.
Other than two videos that give me the same feeling as watching the Bjork Stalker video, which is like it's an insane thing to say about an interview with Ben Mankiewicz. Is Ben Mankiewicz the one that did the evil ass Wizard of Oz? Yeah, he's canceled now.
Yeah, he is super canceled.
Do?
Oh, did you hear? It's even worse.
No,
they inserted David Zaslav's face into the Wizard of Oz that's playing at the Sphere.
That one is like, honestly, I gotta give him credit for that.
That is like, someone has something out for me.
I gotta give him
a witch. There is a witch out there. And I've had a bad enough year already, but there is a fucking witch out there who has cursed me and me personally. And that is part of it.
I got to give him credit for that, because, using AI
to
insert David Zaslav into the background of your AI recreation of Wizard of Oz is like D1 rage baiting. It's like, that is that should be in the if they made him like a Smith.
Oh, I'm rage and baited, all right.
If they made a Smithsonian museum of rage baiting, it would be like that. That would have its own wing, you know. Like it would be. It's unreal.
Look, I got some advice for our listeners. Don't bait when you're raging. You're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
It doesn't.
Although actually,
sometimes it hurts, but in a fun way.
Sometimes you just need to angrily
Sometimes you want to be like the lady getting beaten in the coffee ad.
Sometimes it needs to hurt. You know?
Sometimes it be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Warren Beatty has the rights to this, and the resulting project, at least as it concerns the 1990 movie, is in the sort of like, if nothing else, this is a vanity project.
Oh, it's totally a vanity project.
If nothing else.
It's so cool to do a vanity project when you're already like well liked and sort of able to do like whatever you want, because for those who don't know, Warren Beatty was an incredibly popular. He was kind of like the James Dean of the late 60s, early 70s, where he was just a guy who was in movies that had enough artistic flourish to kind of become well liked, but were really just like the MCU of its day. He was in.
No. I would say no. Warren Beatty is kind of one of the faces of like new Hollywood.
Well,
because Bonnie and Clyde comes out and like kind of changes everything.
Well, I was gonna get to that because at first he's in those very commercial heartthrob movies, like he was in Love Story.
Oh, okay, yes,
He was a really good looking guy. Like even in Parallax View, I was like, holy shit.
Oh,
no,
yeah. he was in
I'm not saying he's not incredibly hot.
Love Story, which adjusted for inflation is one of the highest it made like $2 billion. And I guarantee none of our audience has ever even fucking seen Love Story. I didn't even know it existed until I was watching the Robert Evans documentary, the Kid Stays in the Picture. And I'm like, what the fuck is Love Story? And then I look it up and it's like, oh, it made $2 billion and like housewives were squirting to it in the theater. But then from there, yeah, he goes into a more new Hollywood direction, ends up working and getting a lot of great performances in like the Parallax View, like you said, which is a fantastic fucking film.
I'm sorry, I'm fact checking you. You are thinking of Ryan O'Neal.
I am thinking of
Warren Beatty is not in Love Story, and Love Story is after Bonnie and Clyde.
Fuck, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. That's insane to me. Do they look alike? Does Ryan O'Neal look like Warren Beatty? I can't remember.
They're both kind of toe-headed white guys.
I'm gonna look at
he was like a heartthrob actor of the same
okay, you know what, you're right. I'm gonna give myself a pass on this because I have
they're both white men.
They're both white men. Yeah, I can
look this very interchangeable.
But yeah, he was a big movie star in the 60s and 70s. Really a real like new Hollywood after Bonnie and Clyde. He's like a new Hollywood counterculture.
Yeah.
A guy Hollywood left, like campaigned for McGovern, campaigned for Gary Hart, quotes Lenin, made a movie about
made Reds. Yeah, Reds.
Which I've never seen. I've only seen a couple movies that he's in, but he was also a producer on a lot of his movies, even before he started directing them. Like he's always kind of heavily invested in his projects, to say the least, and has a reputation for being a control freak. Well, I'll talk a bit about that later. But like, what do we think? Like, I read about Warren Beatty in context of this movie, but I didn't really go deep on his bio. But I don't know. I feel like that would like be a whole thing on its own to like figure Warren Beatty out. He kind of drops off the map after Reds. He makes one other movie in the 80s, and that's Ishtar.
Ooh.
And then he does Dick Tracy.
I mean, Ishtar is getting like the full blown like reclamation within the last couple years, but there is that period basically in the 80s. He's just like not even a non-entity. He's just it's paling in comparison to the Warren Beatty of the 1970s, where he has like McCabe, Mrs. Miller, Parallax View, Shampoo, and so like part of Dick Tracy's not even him mounting a comeback. It is just like him suddenly finding himself into a kind of new iteration of Hollywood than the like new Hollywood he became the face of, because Dick Tracy comes out in 1990. Just like The Rocketeer, Disney is trying to find their Batman. Like, Batman creates a whole, like, there's like the first wave of the blockbuster you get like after Jaws, you get Star Wars after that, and then 10 years later Batman happens, and the commercialization of films, the tentpole Hollywood blockbuster, completely new
the
game.
Preemptive merch type. Like this, this movie enters production well before Batman comes out, but it's like it's on the horizon.
Yeah, like The Rocketeer, it was also something that was in development throughout the 80s.
Yeah, but after Batman, I think Batman's release and like runaway success prompts Disney to double what the movie cost in marketing and do the like, there's already a bunch of toys and a bunch of weird merch and like Burger King promotional cups and all this stuff, like 28 different ads.
Even though I wasn't born yet, I have comic books from that era that have that Dick Tracy poster on it's very Batman 89, where it's very like symbolism only. Like, there's no faces on the poster. It's just the yellow jacket, the trench coat, and then I think like the outline of Dick Tracy holding a machine gun.
Iconography, yeah.
It's all iconography focused.
Yeah, because Batman was advertised just with the logo, basically.
Yeah, just with the logo. There was no fucking poster with anybody's faces. I don't even think it was just the logo and then the release date. Like, no title, no credits for anybody that worked on it. It was like, what the fuck this is, go see it. And this was kind of the same way.
But I think the thing is because I saw somewhere too in an article that when they did the test of like, how effective is our marketing, it was like 100% of respondents had heard of the movie. But the thing is, Batman in comics had been enjoying a several years long, at minimum, resurgence before the movie came out. Dick Tracy had just fallen off the map. Yeah. It had just become irrelevant in the 60s and stayed irrelevant.
Yeah. Part of what made the Batman movie a runaway success was that, it had other elements to sort of continue the brand saturation of Batman after the fact. You had Batman the Animated Series. You had the fact that the
that comes out because of the movie.
Well,
I know,
but it continues. It left. That's how they got 4 sequels or 3 sequels out of that bitch. Is because everyone in there got like, even if Dick Tracy came out and made money, unless they're doing Dick Tracy the Animated Series and there's Pogs on every fucking screen, like no one is going to see a Dick Tracy sequel.
I'm just saying, Batman as a comic was, for comics, very popular again.
It was the first time
in the 80s.
It was, I think, the first time like ever that it was outselling Superman was in the 90s.
Yeah, so like Batman the movie is coming in at the right time relative to the popularity of the comic, whereas this is like doing a Spawn movie now.
Oh man.
Kind of.
I was hanging out at the comic shop the other day, and apparently there's a guy there who like
likely place for you to be.
I hang out there till after. They let me hang out there after close. It's awesome. We just I'm not even kidding. I will hang out there till like 8 o'clock. Like, they close at 6. I'm hanging there like 2 hours past close, fucking chilling in the back, talking about SQL databases with the owner. But there's one guy at the comic shop who like, and I don't know who he is. I've never seen him, but I've seen his pull list, which for the audience, that's the like, it's like subscribing to something at the comic shop. When you go there every Wednesday, it's waiting there for you instead of you having to peruse the stands, and they'll even special order it for you if it's not something they normally order. The only thing he pulls is every single goddamn Spawn title, and he gets every single cover. There's like a guy, and I want to meet him because I want to look into the eyes of a man who spends probably $400 a month on Spawn comics every month.
Are they still publishing Spawn?
There's like 6 fucking Spawn titles out right now that nobody is buying.
What?
Yeah. It's just because Todd McFarlane owns Image. They can't say no to him because he's Todd McFarlane. So he's
I
just
honestly
like,
thought no one had like thought about Spawn since like 1998.
they have not stopped publishing Spawn comics since he was released. He has, I'm not even joking, there are like a half dozen Spawn titles right now. There's Gunslinger Spawn, there's Tales from the Spawn universe, there's like an Angel Spawn, it's insane. It boggles the mind to think of how much fucking Spawn comics there are, dude.
Oh, it looks like a bunch of these just started a couple years ago.
There's a Cyberpunk
Holy shit.
Spawn. There's the Scorched, which is like an Angel Crusader Spawn. There was an Invisible Man comic that came out that was pretty good, actually. He's Nicole, you'd love it. You'd actually adore the Invisible Man comic because he's just a maniacal gay guy. There's like Tales from the Spawn universe. There's so much goddamn Spawn, dude. There's like Night Spawn.
I'm just thinking of the Forrest Gump listing all the different shrimp dishes.
Yeah.
It's just different Spawn.
There's a Gunslinger Spawn. I don't even know what the fuck Gunslinger Spawn is. I assume it's just Spawn, but he's Wild West. That's currently running for 46 issues. Like, and I guarantee, like,
who the fuck is reading
nobody. But that's the thing is
that guy at the comic store.
Todd McFarlane owns Image, so they can't be like there's two. What the fuck? There's Gunslinger Spawn and Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger Spawn.
Why? Why do you need two different concurrent?
That's insane.
Oh.
That's someone in the audience. Can you write into the show and tell me how many Spawn titles there are? Like and ideally list them out in order of longest running.
It'd be really funny if Michael Jai White was also just squatting on the film rights to Spawn because he thinks he's going to make a Spawn 2 someday.
Doing a Turner Classic Movies interview with like Dave Chappelle.
Spawn.
That's Spawn.
With fucking goddamn Ben Mankiewicz.
and then at some point he's talking to himself, but it's Michael Jai White as Black Dynamite, and he's talking to Spawn.
Ends on the two of them having lunch together in like the most awkward split screen you have ever seen.
Oh my god, dude.
We're not quite there
to
talking about that. We're not. I'm sorry. I should not even bring that up. We need to be talking about Dick Tracy the movie right now.
I would watch Black Dynamite meet Spawn.
I would too. I would absolutely hop in on that. But yeah, that's what's up with Spawn. Thank you for checking into our Spawn podcast.
Nicole, where do we start with Dick Tracy?
Oh my god. Well, let's talk about the plot, or what little of a plot there is, because there is a plot, and it revolves around Al Pacino chewing every scene with his back teeth while hunched over like he has really terrible scoliosis.
And he's like a hunchback. He's got that giant prosthetic chin.
Yeah, and cheeks too. It's bizarre.
They should have cast Bruce Campbell. He wouldn't have needed a prosthetic.
Yeah, so what exactly is the plot of Dick Tracy? And I know we've said multiple times that there isn't really a plot here, but there is a plot.
Okay, so I'm gonna
and there are 3 different montages, one of which I'm pretty sure is composed of scenes that were shot that were supposed to be a part of this movie and cut down for time because you can clearly see actors saying dialogue.
Is that the crime wave scene where it kind of looks like Batman 66? I like that part.
I'm not sure which one it was, but it was very clear that there were just whole scenes that were edited down into a montage. Listen, usually a movie has 1 montage. This one has 3.
I'm more power to them. I'm a big fan of the montage.
I'm not really complaining there. I'm just noticing there are 3 montages in this movie.
Well, again, because there's so much. Like, this movie doesn't have a plot, but there's a lot of stuff happening. So there's
a couple through lines. One of them is that Dick Tracy kind of can't commit to a personal life or even marriage, I should say, to Tess Trueheart. The other is Dick Tracy becomes the dad who stepped up and adopts a kid who later grew up to become a Republican weirdo who sometimes appears in Aaron Schimberg movies.
Oh yeah, the kid in this movie is a son of a Republican hack who became a Federalist Society Yaley weirdo who got jerked off on in a coffin or whatever the fuck it is they do.
Yeah, something like that. And he shows up in both Chained for Life and A Different Man. Like, he hasn't acted in anything really since the 90s as a child actor, and then he just shows up in these two pretty good movies for no reason. I don't know what the relationship there is. I didn't go digging. And the other is Madonna's looking real sexy.
Oh yeah,
isn't she?
Yeah,
that's our other plot.
So maybe the characters are the best way to are the best pegs to hang this on. So we've got
so
Dick Tracy played by. I
can attempt to, unless
okay.
we want to do. Yeah.
No, do it.
You'll provide. Yeah. I want to see how your brain strings together the plot.
Give us a concise plot summary that I can interrupt several times.
So there's like a boy who was like a role clearly written for Macaulay Culkin. Like, it's like the most like we want Macaulay Culkin.
It's like a Dickens child.
Speaking of Michael Jackson,
it's like we cannot afford. This movie does kind of look like Smooth Criminal, actually. But yeah, he witnesses like a gangland killing of a rival gang by the Big Boy mob led by Al Pacino, who we mentioned before is dressed like an anti-Semitic caricature based on the amount of prosthetics he has on his face. And then from there, that boy reluctantly teams up with Dick Tracy, and Dick Tracy kind of adopts him. But it's a very tenuous and fraught relationship because Dick Tracy still can't really commit to anything, and the kid really doesn't trust him and thinks that he's just going to put him in an orphanage because Dick Tracy just stands for law and order. From there, Al Pacino kind of takes over the city and decides to become like the Napoleon of crime.
Yeah, the movie opens with him killing a bunch of insane-looking mobsters with gimmick names.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Flat like it felt
Top.
like Flat Top
Face,
works for him, but that's where you get Little Face and Cue Ball and
Fatso, Harry,
Sure.
who's just a hairy guy. I'm just making up potential Dick Tracy villains, and he's not introduced in this scene, but Dustin Hoffman is also in this movie as a guy named Mumbles, who just talks like fucking Boomhauer.
Outside of Al Pacino and all of the characters not wearing prosthetics, I had a very tough time recognizing actors in this movie. Like, it's that much prosthetics that they're kind of hard to make out.
It is kind of insane who's in this in bit parts under all those prosthetics, or just like we've got Dick Van Dyke, Kathy Bates, Charles Durning.
Dick Van Dyke's in this movie?
Yeah, I didn't
Dustin
even recognize
Hoffman.
Kathy Bates. Like, my mom pointed out, I was like, that's not Kathy Bates. Sure enough, it was Kathy Bates.
James Caan,
Yeah.
Catherine O'Hara,
Who
Paul
was it that played? Okay, that was Paul. I was like, who was it that played?
Yeah, we're doing back-to-back Paul Sorvinos, baby.
I was wondering who played Madonna's squeeze in this. So yeah.
Do you mean her piano player? That's Mandy Patinkin.
That's Indigo Montoya, baby.
No, not him, but the guy the guy who runs the club before Big Boy takes over.
Oh that was
Paul Sorvino.
Yeah, so they overthrow the whole like criminal enterprise of the city, but Dick Tracy can't really get anything to stick on them because they've been very particular about not being associated with the crimes. You know, they're playing it smart. Dick Tracy at one point arrests him, and then arrests Al Pacino's character, and then he kind of gets away. And then this is where the movie starts to lose me here. So then we're introduced to a second antagonist. Who is
No Face.
The No Face. Who is the best design in the whole movie. Actually my favorite character in the whole thing. One, because they're terrifying, and two, because every scene that they're in is the best part of the movie because it makes you feel like
Yeah, no,
Yes.
totally.
Yes. Talks with the voice modulation, and this was the first indication it was lingering in the back of my mind, as it usually does when I watch any kind of colorful movie. I was thinking, that's a giallo element right here. There's a black trench coated figure with I believe no face, has gloves, talking through like a voice modulator, and all I was thinking about were in the two Lucio Fulci giallos, Don't Torture a Duckling and The New York Ripper. They both have these killers who are using a not a Mickey Mouse, a Donald Duck voice. And so, and I know because they're using that voice. And then there's also the, a lot of the twists of a giallo is the killer. If you know the twist of Deep Red, you will know what I am talking about.
Okay,
sort of
hold
what
on,
the twist
Nicole,
of this movie will
it's
be.
funny you mentioned giallo movies. I remember watching this and thinking, this motherfucker's lit like a giallo.
Because it is.
because the cinematographer of this, Vittorio Storaro, who also like did some Coppola movies, he did Apocalypse Now.
Yeah,
was the director of photography of On Bird with the Crystal Plumage.
That's a good movie.
Yeah,
and I just want to clarify, all of these characters are real Dick Tracy characters. From the comics, the no face guy is not actually secretly Madonna. In the comics, at least I don't think. I didn't get that far. There's also a second faceless. So the no face character is kind of a hodgepodge of two no faced characters. There's the no face guy who's like a hitman who's always changing his face, and then there's the man without a face who has more of the look with the smooth criminal sort of black spy trench coat and the wide brimmed hat that sort of conceal the fact that he has no face.
It's crazy to just have a faceless guy and then introduce a different faceless guy.
I was
later
thinking
in
the
your
same
comic.
fucking thing. I was like, that is an insane value proposition. Like,
he probably forgot. He probably forgot he did that. Like that. Like you see that happens in like JoJo all the time. Like Araki will just forget he introduced something.
That's true.
That there's a precedent. Same way he kind of just progressively forgets how to draw a dog or what a dog looks like. Yeah, I'm going with the hack bits this episode.
A lot of shit probably happens when you're doing a comic that appears in newspapers, so it's like coming out like every day, and you've been doing it and you do it from 1931 to 1975.
yeah, but so we're introduced to this no face character who, spoilers, is Madonna.
It's Madonna. It's so obviously Madonna.
It's so obviously Madonna.
I actually didn't see that coming, but I probably should have.
The voice modulation. You've clearly not seen enough giallos to know if a killer is using a face modulation. There is a good chance it is a woman.
Part of it is just because as a story, the movie did not really engage me, so I wasn't thinking too hard about the mystery.
I know what you mean.
Okay.
You don't expect it to be a giallo. You expect it to be a comic book movie.
No.
And a lot of times in the comic book movie, that reveal would be comedic, where it's like, oh, it's some loser who has or someone with a disfigurement or something. So no, I didn't get it. I didn't pick up on it the first time either, but then the second time I picked up on it a little bit.
Yeah, when you consider it from a perspective of economy of characters, it's like, who else would it be?
Exactly.
But I guess we should probably explain. So Madonna plays a character named Breathless Mahoney, also a character from the comic.
A wonderful name. I know that is like classic.
It is a great name.
Dick Tracy noir femme fatale name, but just beautiful. Beautiful name. Beautiful name.
And she, even though she has no chemistry because Beatty's playing Tracy is such a hunk of like just cardboard, she is like trying really hard. Like
we mentioned the fucking spanking ass coffee advertisement from the 1950s. She literally just positions herself on the desk like she's Maggie Gyllenhaal.
She's got some great fits in this, and there's a scene and so the whole thing is, it's like Dick Tracy is like too invested in his job and too emotionally stunted to commit to his girlfriend, but like Madonna's constantly trying to fuck him the whole movie, like desperately trying to fuck him.
Which,
and
I know they're closer in age than you would expect, but that did feel like a problematic age gap.
I mean, I feel like if you're over 30, then like there's no problematic age gaps upwards.
Yes, come on.
But at the same time, it's mostly like as a director producer, Beatty is 52 in this movie, and Madonna and Glenn Headley playing his proper love interest are both like 30.
Yeah. But more so,
that's the other thing we haven't mentioned is that Warren Beatty is just too old. Warren Beatty's too old.
Well, yeah, I wanted to say he plays this role like he's 70. And I think it's because he's doing like
he's so old-headed in this role.
He's playing this, he could theoretically play this character, but I think the combination of writing, directing, and producing was wearing him down to the point where he feels like 30 years old. Like it feels like the video at E3 where Stan Lee's being wheeled out as Revolver Ocelot.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's just got no energy. There's like nothing there, and I think it's just because like he's
worn out.
I think he's trying to play square and upright and repressed, and like trying to pull some pathos and comedy out of how repressed Dick Tracy is, but there's just because he can't direct himself, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
You just don't. It just doesn't play.
He feels exhausted. It comes across as that he's worn out, and yeah, it feels like that's intentional because his character is like an older Dick Tracy who's on the edge of retirement and needs to learn to settle down and take things a little bit slower and focus.
I don't know if he's supposed to be that much older. I think that's just him being too vain to realize he's a bit too old for the part and looks it.
Maybe, but I think
it's just the performance is just not geared to accomplish what he thinks it's accomplishing.
Well, but isn't part of the, and granted, I could be just like delusionally remembering this, but isn't part of the early crux of the film is that he keeps getting offered like a desk job? Like they're like, "Hey, Dick, it's time."
Yeah, but I think that's just like more of a character thing because this movie is like set up where it's like, cause at the end it's like, no, he just goes back to being Dick Tracy.
That's
and he's
true.
gonna do Dick Tracy stuff forever, and he is like one of those comic characters that doesn't age. Like I don't think it's supposed to be an end of Dick Tracy gets old story. I think that it just feels that way because he's 52.
Yeah. There's a scene
and doesn't have those like Tom Cruise genes where he could play 30 at 52.
Yeah. There's a scene where he has to chase after a train and it feels like he's going to die. Like he gets winded and it just cuts away from him. And I'm like, damn, you good?
No, he's too old for the part and he can't direct himself, at least to do what this movie wants him to do. He can't be his own director. He needed somebody to guide and shape that performance who was looking through the camera and watching it. But I just wanted to talk about how you can see Madonna's tits in the PG movie.
Oh yeah, we weren't on mic yet when we talked about that.
We hadn't started the episode when we talked about that. Not that I'm complaining, but that is between that and the movie ending with like 500 goons just getting gunned down by the cops as they lemming-like charge into Tommy gun fire. I can't believe this movie got a PG.
I think
no one was paying attention, right? I guess, the MPA. Because it's so obvious. It's so obvious. But, I mean, that's the thing. Like, that and The Rocketeer also had more adult-oriented stuff. And, I mean, it's like you're not going to see that in any kind of 4-quadrant Disney release now. Like we're not gonna see fucking Scarlett Johansson's full erect nipples through a top while she's supposed to be running around as Black Widow. You're not gonna see that. So that's I'm sorry, that's a point in Dick Tracy's favor.
Is it?
For me.
2 points.
You see unintentional tits.
I guess.
No, that's intentional. There's no way that's unintentional. Like it's just plausibly deniable.
I feel like it's kind of weird, like tonally weird in this kind of movie to do, just because I'm going to sound like a woke moralist here, but I feel like Dick Tracy is like 5-year-old core to me. It's like I get that at this point all of its audience is 95 years old because they were born in 1930, but like it's a very weird tonal mismatch from like the type of movie where you have like this Macaulay Culkin style kid in it. And
there's too much of that kid in this movie.
There's too much of that kid, and like it doesn't know if it wants to be like a kind of tongue in cheek, like, you know, here's a kind of movie that you can take, you know, your older kids to, but all adults can have a little fun too, and you get to see some boobies. Or it's like, is this a movie that you need to just throw in front of like a 4-year-old while they watch while you go out and buy cigarettes or something? Yeah,
it's like it can't decide if it's like more in that tonal range of like a Raiders of the Lost Ark, or if it's like in the tonal range of like a Home Alone or
exactly. It's like it would be like if there was like full frontal nudity of an adult in like a Home Alone movie. I get there's like the Playboy scene, but that's a little tongue. Like
I think it's
and then you have and then but for me the scene in question that feels really adult oriented, just because it reminded me of all fucking things. It just reminded me of Showgirls. It's the scene where Al Pacino, Big Boy Caprice, again hunched over like he has terrible scoliosis under these like prosthetics, is just slapping dancers around and like poking at Madonna, be like, dance right, dance right, dance right. And it's literally like the rehearsal scene with Nomi Malone.
Because she's the club singer. I also thought of the scene from
You're
Showgirls.
expecting him to be like, thrust it.
It's weird.
And it's not like
it's
sexual. It's like gay guy fruity hips and tits.
Yeah, it's not sexual. It's like aggressively homosexual. It's like it's uncomfortable in a different way. I know Al Pacino in this movie feels like he's in a different movie. It feels like he's trying to be the Joker.
Everybody feels like they're in a different movie from each other.
He's giving the best performance here, if only because he is just chewing with his back molars on everything.
He's entertaining, that's for sure. I wouldn't fully commit to him being a good performance, but he's definitely the most entertaining.
I'm saying good on the spectrum of appropriately campy performance.
I agree with that. Yeah, he's having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's a very palpable, like infectious kind of fun.
There is an element of the casting that just feels just like new Hollywood actor guys all just getting together to
It does feel a little bit like Warren Beatty was like, I'm gonna get my friends a bag here, you know? Like it's like, I don't know how close he is with Al Pacino or anything.
Yeah. He actually tried to get Gene Hackman to play Big Boy, but Gene Hackman apparently had a cameo in Reds, and Beatty is like because he is an auteur, I think, like self-consciously wanting to be identified as an auteur, and so he does like 60 takes of every setup, and apparently that drove Hackman nuts. So he was like, I'm not being in anything you direct.
I just watched, you know what I watched with Hackman in it that was phenomenal? Good ass dad movie. Is I watched for the first time Crimson Tide.
Oh, dude, I had that on tape as a kid. I've been thinking of rewatching that.
That was great, dude. Talk about are submarines like the best type of vehicle for cinema? Like
they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I want to rewatch that and Hunt for October. I haven't seen either of those movies since I was a kid.
October too. I've read the book.
But dude, fucking Hackman fucking rules, dude.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
All right.
One of the greats.
Just in general to Hackman. R.I.P.
Don't come to New Mexico, you will die. New Mexico is not for beginners.
I think it's just if you're 95 years old, you'll die.
I think it's specific.
Too hot.
New Mexico, dude. We killed Val Kilmer. We killed fucking. We killed Gene Hackman. We killed Jeffrey Epstein.
Alec Baldwin killed someone else.
Alec Baldwin killed someone else here, dude. It's not for beginners.
And that killed his career.
Yeah, did you guys know that Jeffrey Epstein had a ranch outside of Albuquerque?
Oh yeah,
in New Mexico.
Yeah, I did. Like all kinds of weird shit out there.
Yeah, I kind of want to go visit it, but I feel like they've already taken out all the tunnels.
just bomb in there like the guys that try to get on the island.
Yeah, no, dude, I totally could. New Mexico is not for beginners, dude.
Holy shit, Gene Hackman was in Crimson Tide, Get Shorty, and Quick and the Dead all in 1995.
Yeah, that's because he wasn't fucking around with 60 goddamn takes.
Yeah.
that's because they showed up and they're like, all right, I need you to slap Denzel around. And he was like, yes, sir.
Yeah. I think that like lots of takes things is insane. Like, I mean, I love Kubrick, but I also think that's like, I think that's a thing you don't actually need to do.
It's something that
you probably got it.
Yeah. It's something that you can only pull off if you're really, really, really annoying. Like if Kubrick hadn't already made like 7 of the best films ever made, I don't think he would have been able to get away with that shit.
Yeah. But like, I think actually to understand this movie, in part, we need to think about not Batman 89, but Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes, I was also thinking of Roger Rabbit, if only for even just the aesthetic similarities, because so much of this movie, and I read that the Roger Ebert loved this movie. By the way, like perfect sport.
Insane.
But and I don't agree with him on
Spawn.
the like. I don't agree with him on the thing we point out, which is the movie's biggest weakness, the lack of characterization for the titular character, the barely their plot. Like there needs to be more substance to it. But he is he finds that to be sort of the point, that this is elevating kind of the shallowness of comics, for lack of a better word, or the style is the substance, I suppose. But this, like, I mean, so with all the production design, art direction, how much this, and I was actually also comparing how this movie looks to Speed Racer a bit, that deliberate artificiality, that everything you see is clearly a constructed set. It is using like in-camera effects, like optics. It is using just every kind of cinematic trick in the book that is very obvious about itself. It is a like, it is kind of like seeing a animated movie almost, but it's literally live action. It
uses a lot of the same tricks as animation, where you'll have very flat, painted matte backgrounds that, have like 1 or 2 moving elements that cycle around to give the illusion of depth. Yeah,
the matte paintings, like this movie is very impressive looking. It has a lot of really strikingly composed shots, great production design, great lighting. But I do think it has that problem of you sometimes get with like every frame of painting mindset, where while each individual shot might be really nicely composed, they don't necessarily cohere as a sequence of images in a way that makes for like compelling visual narrative, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not, there's not any particular like, they're all very pretty shots, but then and they're very well staged, but all of the action and the movement and the performances tend to be very flaccid, unless they're like bombastic and kind of Saturday morning cartoon bad, which can have its own charm.
Well, the whole movie just has that leaden kind of just moving from event to event. Like, again, like at the end, near the end, when all of those gangsters are trapped by the cops and Dick Tracy, and they just one by one drive out of the garage they're trapped in and get shot up, and it was just standing there shooting at them. It's like not. It's like the same problem we had with like The Shadow with a lot of these other movies, is the lack of like narrative momentum, or the lack of tension in action scenes and stuff like that. Just everything just kind of coming flat, and flaccid. Yeah,
there needs to be like a thrust. There needs to be like, here's the thing, like you would, and this starts with the character, the fact that Dick Tracy's not very interesting. And I get that his whole character is supposed to be very square, man of the law, but you can still make that interesting by having a deeper emotional investment. And that's where like his relationship with Tess is supposed to play that, fill that gap, and even more so his relationship with Kid. But you don't really give a fuck about the kid. He's a shitty ass kid.
You don't give a fuck about it. I think
you don't.
There's ways to play a square upright guy that are compelling. Like there's an energy you can bring to that will bring a scene to life. You can even if the character isn't like
you can be
profound
campy about
as a
it.
character.
Be pronounced. Wait, be pronounced about it. Be like a caricature of a square.
Yeah, you could even.
Well,
like but that was the thrust of like the Roger Ebert. I don't have the review up in front of me, but he has this whole section. It's like kind of the camp mindset where it's not a lamp, it's a lamp in quotation marks. It is not Dick Tracy, it is Dick Tracy in quotation marks. You can like do that, like elevating the performance of a square to be sort of a facsimile of itself. Like you can make that interesting, but he's just being boring.
It's weird.
Well, I was saying that would work. That would be the version I'd like to see, is like kind of make a punchline out of how square he is, which I think maybe the movie's trying to do, but just not succeeding.
I think it is, yeah.
You could also like play it straight and still like you can have that kind of like Joe Friday and Dragnet thing, or there's just like this like clipped
intensity,
rapid staccato energy to it that is like not camp. It's totally played straight, but it's still compelling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not necessarily what I would want from this movie, but like that would have worked too. It's just nothing. There's just this like lack of nucleus to the whole movie, narratively and performance wise.
It seems that like you could also go for like anti-charisma. You know, like a lot of noir protagonists are so down-putting and down-tempo that they become enrapturing in the way that they can just kind of sleepwalk through a scene, you know, like Elliot Gould in The Long Goodbye or Harrison Ford in Blade Runner.
Yeah, like speaking of like that type of guy, but there's just something missing. Yeah, and it's so weird for a guy who's so apparently committed to and in love with the character that once he puts on the coat and the hat, and a guy who we know can be a good actor is just such a non-presence on screen. It's bizarre.
You know what I think it is? I think it's what happens when you love something a little bit too much. Like I love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love Spider-Man. I would never want to write Spider-Man because I can't. You're going to have so much knowledge and so much appreciation for the best elements of the character that is going to become like a jail cell to you. It's why people often say don't hire fans. It's because they can get caught in the prism.
They can be a liability
of faithfulness to the concept and be unable to take risks, even small ones within that. It can work out. Like, you know, like Sam Raimi was a huge fan of like, you know, like horror and stuff like that. And he made excellent horror films. And he was also a fan of like Steve Ditko, and he made a good adaptation of Spider-Man, even if he was more of a Doctor Strange guy. But a lot of times, it ends up like this, where they have an almost fan wiki-ish appreciation to it, which is what I feel from when when we'll get to it later. When he does the Dick Tracy specials, it's like, oh, you have like bad autism. Like it's you're the type of guy who like right now has 14 followers on Twitter and is posting about how like one of the Ninjago commercials wasn't faithful to the character of Sensei Wu. You know, it's like it almost humanized him a little bit for me as a person watching those, where it's like, oh, you're in a way you're just like me. The stars are just like us.
It's I think it's when you love something that much and that completely, you can't separate the parts of it into like, this is what I or other people love about it. Like this is the core, like, you know, separate what the engine is from what the tail fins are, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And I think maybe with him, it's like he couldn't get to the core of what made Dick Tracy go as a character, as a collection of stories,
which
because
is sad,
he was too in love with all of it.
Because sometimes that can work, you know. Sometimes there are fans that can pull that kind of stuff off, but you need to be able to think critically about the thing that you like and take the rose tinted goggles off. And it especially when we get to the interviews, it doesn't seem like he has ever taken those off.
That's also where we run up against this just kind of also being a vanity project of a giant movie star control freak. where it's like it's got a lot of those problems of the Vanity Project, where it's like it's very ambitious, it's making a lot of interesting decisions, like the crazy prosthetics, and it has the beautiful production design and cinematography. But then it's also, because it's so myopically focused on its vision and the ego of the director star is too big to the point it kind of distorts his perspective, ability to step back and go like, oh, this doesn't work, that doesn't work. The 5 semi-connected plots don't make for a movie.
Yeah.
Like this.
Like you know that he did that because he wanted to show all of his favorite Dick Tracy characters. Like he was like, "Oh, we gotta have Big Boy, and we gotta have Flat Top, and we gotta have like fucking Big Head or whatever the fuck that guy's name was."
Small face. Excuse you.
Small face.
All these different things that I need to work.
Yeah.
That all need to be in the movie, even if I can't figure out how to connect them together. But then also he invents the love triangle, which I assume I don't think was ever in the comics, because comics Dick Tracy was too square for that.
I got to be honest, I don't know. I didn't really get past the first like year and a half of the strip, just because there's so fucking much of it.
There's a lot of it, yeah. As best as I could figure from just like reading about it, that's him. That's like his whole, because he was like a massive Lothario, famously, up until he settled down in like 1994. I look, he has one accusation, but it got dismissed in court like pretty quickly. So
yeah,
I don't know if
I don't know.
bears talking.
Yeah,
about.
I mean that's and then Tess was originally because Tess was originally supposed to be played by Sean Young, who we talked about briefly when you and I did Batman Returns.
Yeah, that has more.
I don't know. I know Sean Young has a bit of a, she had a bit of a, I don't want to say a crazy streak, because I think that is just what happens if you are a woman in Hollywood, and B, presumably, like I 100% believe her as an actress, she was probably subjected to some very cool things while working in Hollywood, and so I 100% believe her.
Oh, it was Sean Young.
Which I don't know. Is this a good?
I kind of wanted to.
That was supposed to be Sean Young.
Before we jump fully into that, I just wanted to follow up on Stu's point about the Vanity Project, to kind of steal a phrase from another show. It's the black T-shirt movie. It's the Vanity Project by someone who probably shouldn't be making a Vanity Project, because they aren't able to keep their ego in check. It's very this movie feels like a big budget Hollywood version of a Neil Breen movie at times. Like it. That
I thank you. I was also thinking that, but I thought maybe I was a little bit on fucking crack for that.
It's Cade the Tortured Crossing.
It is like it's bizarre. it's like how did this even?
Well, actually, I was going to say you would need to have a scene where Warren Beatty talks to himself, but thankfully we do eventually get that. Albeit not in Dick Tracy 1990.
In the movie, he's like keeping the black T-shirt in check a little bit, like it's calling to him like Venom.
It's hidden underneath. It's under the trench coat.
Warren Beatty does fundamentally just have more talent than Neil Breen.
Sure.
It's Warren Beatty.
There is a shared energy.
Sure, there. but then by the time we get to Dick Tracy Zooms In, the T-shirt is taken over. He's Spider-Man, going to sleep and waking up on the fucking Turner Classic Movies channel. Like it's
okay.
Insane.
Let's talk about these specials.
Okay,
we need to talk about these specials.
I think that'll be a better direction to go into.
Do we want to talk about the Sean?
Do we? I can kind of go either way. I feel like talking about the specials would be fun, and talking about sexual assault would be kind of dour.
I think we'll talk about this. It's not. Well, it's more. What it seems like what happened is he tried to kiss her and made a pass at her.
Sure.
And then she said extremely firm no, and I think maybe that was what sank her career, was just she was assertive in an industry, in an environment that just takes strongly assertive women as divas.
Like threats.
Yeah. But like that was the extent of it. It wasn't like anything really
I
dark.
see. So it wasn't like, yeah, it wasn't.
But then she was
violent.
fired a few days later, and he claimed it was because she didn't fit the role. So
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
but like there wasn't like anything.
Sure.
There was.
Well, fuck him.
Well, it wasn't like super ruin your life.
No, it wasn't.
depressing
It wasn't.
type
Yeah,
shit.
it wasn't full out. I mean, it was assault, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It wasn't rape.
Sure. Anyways,
No, not to downplay. No, I'm not trying to downplay.
No,
it,
Not
but
to downplay,
anyways,
but
yes,
just like
we
it's
need.
not like we
well,
gotta avoid talking about it.
But yes, we need to talk about the Dick Tracy specials.
I agree because we talked about the source material. We've talked about the movie. Do you guys want to take the first one? Because I didn't actually get around to watching the first one. And is that one more insane?
Well,
than the
actually,
second one?
before we jump into these, actually, I do want to talk about the legal stuff a little bit.
Okay, yeah, let's talk
which
about that.
will set the context for these.
Okay.
So Beatty bought. So there was two other guys that had the rights for a Dick Tracy movie first. They bought the rights in 1977, and they shopped them around for a while, and it landed at Universal, which was where Eisner and Katzenberg were before they moved to Disney. And that went through a couple versions. It had John Landis attached, and he commissioned a script from the credited writers, Jim Cash and Jack Epps, who wrote Trancers.
What's Trancers?
And got into the video game industry in the 2000s and worked on a bunch of stuff. So Landis commissions that script. It goes through a bunch of drafts. Landis leaves the project after the incident.
What happened?
Oh wait, what happened?
yeah.
What happened? I've never heard about John Landis having an incident.
His wife got
What happened?
Okay, so for the audience that doesn't
So his
know,
wife-
on the set of The Twilight Zone, I don't know if I need to explain this or not.
I was fucking with you, man.
You could just say he's a bit of a.
For the sake of our anyone listening who doesn't know, briefly, when John Landis was shooting his segment of the Twilight Zone movie, he ordered a helicopter pilot to get a shot under really dangerous conditions that he blatantly shouldn't have and was told not to. And the helicopter crashed and got actor Vic Morrow and 2 children killed. Huge fucking scandal. Anyway, he leaves the project because of that. Then they have Walter Hill working with the same 2 writers on a later draft of the script. And Walter Hill brings on Warren Beatty, but they have a falling out over the tone of the movie because Walter Hill wants to make it like a Walter Hill movie, like a more gritty crime action movie.
That would be insane. Having seen a handful of Walter Hill flicks, that would be insane.
That would, yeah, that would be
like,
its own thing. That'd be
Imagine a
interesting.
Dick Tracy movie that looks like The Driver, where everything, it's like that piss-soaked, like New York. It's like the disgusting, like,
Yeah.
they haven't quite cleaned
No,
it up
fuck!
yet.
Imagine a Dick Tracy movie that like moves and feels and has incredible songs like Streets of Fire. Let's not even. Let's. Actually, you know what? I see that they could make a good double feature together. I can kind of see it, or not a good double feature, but I see the similarities.
But anyway, so that version just kind of fizzles out after Hill and Beatty split. And then Beatty buys the rights himself in 1985. Him and someone else, Bo something, but no, it's not Bo Burnham. It's something.
Bo Burnham, yeah, he's like,
It was Bo is Afraid.
Bo Goldman, who wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, they rework the script into the final version, but they don't get credit from the WGA. Anyway, Disney tells him in 1988 he can make this movie if he keeps the budget under 25 mil. It balloons to like 45 because he's a 60 shot per setup guy with this really ambitious vision for what the movie's going to look like. Anyway, that him buying the rights, because the rights revert to Tribune, the syndicate, the newspaper comic syndicate, before Beatty buys them. And the guys who originally held the rights, who brought it to Universal, where is that here? Floyd Muttrux and Art Linson sue them for a share of the profits. And then, even though there weren't that many profits, because this movie, with its marketing budget, barely it lost money before the international market and home video. it was like yeah, on paper it looks like a decent hit, but it was not a success for Disney. They thought this was going to do Batman numbers.
Could you imagine if we had like 4 Dick Tracy sequels and Dick just got progressively more gayer as they went on?
I was just thinking, like, if they did like super like the later Hellraiser sequels, just like straight to DVD.
Yeah, that's kind of what
with like
happens
really
to
shitty
this.
prosthetics. But anyway, so Beatty just hangs onto the rights after this movie comes out because Disney has no interest in doing any more Dick Tracy shit. They cancel. They have all this marketing shit, but when that flops, they like cancel the ride they're gonna install in Disneyland and Disney World.
What's the Dick Tracy ride look like?
They give most of the rights, except probably like some of the distribution rights to the existing movie, back to Beatty because they're like, we don't care about this Dick Tracy shit. This was a disaster for us. It's the type of movie we don't want to make. This is maybe what sours them on auteur directors in general, in part.
Oh wow, there's actually concept art for the Dick Tracy ride.
So Beatty hangs onto the rights into the 2000s, and then sometime in the mid 2000s, the Tribune Syndicate wants to do like a Dick Tracy TV show. They're looking at like Smallville and thinking, oh, we could do that with Dick Tracy, like young Dick
Could
Tracy.
you imagine an 11 series Dick Tracy
Young Dick.
show where they're Surf Draculaing the fuck out of people? Like they're like, oh, dude, there's a guy who shows up and his head is just a little flat at the top, but he hasn't quite become flat top yet. And then by season 11, he's become flat top.
Big Boy is like his high school best friend who will someday betray him. Anyway,
yeah, he has to earn the leather, the yellow yellow trench coat. Like he doesn't get that till like season 17.
So because of that, they start like shopping around this show, and Beatty sues them because he's like, I still own the rights to this. And they go bankrupt during the lawsuit, which drags on for years into like 2012. And it's in 2010 to retain the rights because it's like, well, you've got to do something with these rights or they revert. That's when he makes the first Dick Tracy special that airs once on some random afternoon on TMC.
Turner Classic Movies with
TCM.
Or
Ben
TCM,
Mank
sorry.
Leonard.
Well, this one's just Leonard Maltin.
Yeah, not Ben Mankiewicz at this. It's the other old guy who later shows up, even older, with a cane.
Yeah.
They like shoot a fuck, what's that guy's name? The guy Charlie something who got me too'd.
Charlie XCX. Oh, Charlie Rose.
Charlie Rose. Yeah, they're doing like a Charlie Rose style interview with Warren Beatty, who is in character as Dick Tracy. And I can only describe Warren Beatty in these two specials. The second one of which is more unhinged because it is using the Zoom format, but I've sat in on multiple, like every year I've gone to Anime Boston, I just sit in on a improv panel where they have people in cosplay just like improving as the character they are dressed as. And every year there is one person who is just a little too into it, to the point where you are wondering if it's kind of a product of just a complete kind of psychotic break where they are completely immersed in, no, I am actually Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh! That is what Warren Beatty is doing with Dick Tracy.
I like that you've used Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh! Twice, so I know this is a real thing that happened to you with that specific character.
There was. Not at Anime Boston, though. It was, actually, no, that guy does appear at Anime Boston, but there was, like, another guy at, like, PortCon, Maine, which is a convention I don't go to anymore, because it was extra smelly. But it is that is what this reminded me of.
He does a lot of that thing when you're improving in character where you don't know exactly what to say, so you just kind of like mumble and repeat yourself till you find like a bit. He starts talking about how the secret of his youth, because he's pretending, oh, I'm actually like 107 years old. Yeah,
what is his
Dick
secret?
Tracy is a real guy.
Oh,
All this stuff was based on.
This is repeated
Pomegranates.
in the sequel. And yeah, he spends like a good 6 minutes of this 20-minute thing just yapping about fruit. And then from there,
Oh no, that's from the first one that they show
once in a
clips
while,
of in the
you know,
second
yeah,
one.
they show
have a
it.
blueberry.
They show it.
Once in a while, I'll have
They
a
show
blueberry.
it in the second one as like the introduction, which is insane because at this point you don't have any context. And yeah, he never once breaks character. It's like it's a little scary because yeah, like they ask him to. And this is when the weirdest part of the second one, which is done over Zoom because it's the pandemic. Where
well, no, that was 2023. This would have been at least like this is after the pandemic.
Still a little pandemic.
Yeah, the Dick Tracy Zooms In is 2023. It is not.
It was like made like a year before it aired.
It's made a year before because he has to. The only
but
reason,
that's 2022. Like we were. I mean, we were still doing the Zoom thing, but we weren't like it feels like something that would have been released as a ostensibly the idea of like a Zoom sort of special is something that existed in the really terrible months of COVID, like where just like nobody was allowed to talk to anybody. Where you're just having like
Warren Beatty is
like the fucking Drag Race reunion special they had to do like that year, just completely over Zoom. That is what like we're talking about here. But it's Warren Beatty zooming with himself.
It might have been shot a little bit earlier because I found a YouTube comment that went into detail a little bit about his process making these. So before he even gets
wait, you did? Okay, wait, no, we bring that comment up. I need to know more.
So I'm going into it right now. Before they even air on TCM, he has to lobby the court to get these legally declared as sequels, which can take a couple months of time.
Oh yeah, he had to take these to court and get them to like rubber stamp them as real.
What the fuck?
Yeah, because you can't. You need some kind of release. So yeah, he makes these, lobbies the court, and then has TCM release these
legally mandated sequels.
Yeah, no, literally, like he has to. These are year-long these are long ass processes here, because yeah, he has to go from first just making it to then getting the courts to legally declare these as sequels to then releasing them so that they can be qualified before the rights expire, because if they don't air or get released anywhere, they can't be legally counted as a sequel.
Well, not necessarily a sequel, but just legitimate media using the character.
Exactly. Yeah, like a continuation of him using the rights, essentially.
Yeah. And that's why they have to air on TCM and not just like.
That's why they have to air on.
It has to be like a legitimate.
Yeah, because you can't just throw that on YouTube because. Well, I guess actually maybe you could. I don't really know what the specifics of copyright law are regarding proper stewardship of.
I think it's property. Easier to sell as legitimate if it goes on like a TV network.
Yeah,
it's what people thought the Corman Fantastic Four movie was.
Exactly. And yeah, I remember this coming out because that's the thing. Another key part of these is so as soon as he gets the court approval, he just ships it off to TCM and they air it. This thing aired at the middle, I believe at 1 a.m. Eastern time on TCM. These are like bottom of the barrel releases. They are only screened once. It's not even on TCM's website. You have to go to his like own YouTube channel to view these. Neither of the specials have ever been officially aired after their initial release date because they aren't products for our consumption. They are purely just devices for him to continue owning the character.
The first one pads out a bunch of its runtime with like a capsule, like Leonard Maltin just doing a capsule history of the character. And I think part of it is like, yeah, these things are just doing the bare minimum so that Beatty can keep the rights. But also I think it's like, you know, when like that Dan Aykroyd movie when he just like got to make his own, also in 1990, was it Nothing But Trouble?
Nothing but Trouble.
Yeah. I feel like maybe this is just like autistic guy humor. Like when you have that sense of humor that is so.
Oh, this is so autistic.
Insular that you don't like. It doesn't really connect with anybody else. Like his idea of like what's funny.
I agree. I do think he thinks he's being cute here because kind of the core bit of the second one and most of the runtime is devoted to him making fun of the movie as the character Dick Tracy. And it's not actually meant to be criticism of the film.
He's like 10 minutes of that, or like an old style of YouTube essay.
Yeah.
Where you just like pause and comment. Yeah.
It's weird because it's not even really, I think, meant to be serious criticism, because he's taking like the things that everyone liked about the movie. Like he's like, oh, it's too colorful, or oh, there's too much action, or whatever. It's like these very roundabout compliments.
The bit is like Dick Tracy, the tightly wound guy who was like born in like 1910 would not and takes himself seriously, would not like this stuff. But then also I think it's like kind of voicing some of his insecurities about the movie too.
A little bit, yeah.
Because there's that whole section where he comes on as himself and is like, oh no, I collaborate. I like to collaborate with people.
It's weird.
I like to have people to tell me no.
It's weird, yeah, because it goes from being these like roundabout compliments of him like kind of giving himself these very backhanded, like two-faced critiques of his own film to them then being a conversation between Warren Beatty, the real person, and Warren Beatty, the character of Dick Tracy. And it's the best part of the thing just because it's utterly insane. Like at this point,
it's baffling.
The interviewers are completely removed from the equation. Every time it cuts to Ben Mankiewicz, he looks like he's being held hostage. Like it's
and they're looping the footage of Ben Mankiewicz and the old TCM guy. They're like looping it. And they're they're digitally inserting static. Like the feed is fucking up.
They do like a
They're
Zoom.
doing that.
He's also
like
doing some like
joke.
Old man can't use Zoom humor.
Yeah. Like every time Warren, presumably to like, even though I assume they just shot two separate takes, but it's weird. It makes you think like he's running back and forth to play the character. It'll freeze every time he goes to answer a question, and then Warren Beatty, the Dick Tracy will be like, "Hey, are you still there?" And then he'll be like, "Oh, what I was trying to say is this, blah blah blah," and real Warren Beatty will talk. From there it goes to them finally having their in-person meeting. The character.
Oh
of
my
Dick
God.
Tracy. Because there's a
that
running
weird bit where there's Dick Tracy is like, you didn't show up at a meeting that we were supposed to have. It's like, what?
Yeah, it is straight up. No, it's straight up.
It's so awkward.
It's straight up like autistic guy who hasn't figured out how to mask like humor. Like it's
yes, it's
totally bizarre. It's like I get why you think the mechanics of this are funny. And like you on some level, you're kind of intuiting that a lot of humor comes from like social embarrassment and awkwardness, but it's just not being applied right. It's just like
I think just to him the meta element of it itself is inherently funny and novel because he's like, I don't know if he's like kept up with like the last 35 years. I get the feeling that he hasn't done much in this time. And it's because they play like they play like another interview of Warren Beatty, the person who was on TCM later, unrelated to the first Dick Tracy special. And there's like a gag where like the character of Dick Tracy is a fan of Warren Beatty, but he doesn't like the Dick Tracy movie, and it boggles the mind. It's frightening the level at which this guy this would be like if Tom Cruise started doing Christian shit like this. It's insane. Yeah, no, it's really strange, but it's also like what's really weird about it is like, why is he doggedly clinging to the rights to this thing? Like, does he really think he's going to get Dick Tracy 2 made?
I think that there's part of him.
He's 88 goddamn years old.
I think there's part of him.
I mean, comic book IP is whether it's actually penetrative outside of like the comic book bubble. I can imagine that having the rights to any kind of intellectual property that has its basis in comic books, especially within the last 15 years post Iron Man, is something worth holding on to. Just in this small event, you can cash in on it.
But I don't think that's what it's about, because he's been insisting he's going to make a sequel himself.
But I also think he just really likes Dick Tracy.
Yeah. No, I think this is a case.
But I just mean, like, he hasn't, like, he could hire, like, he could probably get a Dick Tracy movie made if he hired other people to make it and was just like a producer and got his check.
I agree.
No, that's the thing.
That's the thing. He wants to be Dick Tracy.
That's what's crazy. He's 88 years old and he thinks he is going to write and direct and star in another Dick Tracy movie. That's what's confounding to me.
That's what makes it so fascinating to me. Is like it's. I don't think there's any cynicism or corporatism in the sentiment at all. I think he just it's pure like fanboy autism of like being like I have to own the character because then I can dictate the direction in which it goes forward and steward it into being, the thing that I always knew it could be, but it can't. Like it's a complete break with reality. It's a mental illness, honestly, which makes it awesome to witness.
Yeah. It's I compared like this is so did this air at 4 a.m. on Adult Swim kind of vibes where you're not sure you see it and you're like, am I being pranked right now? Is this an elaborate joke? And the answer is no, because Warren Beatty is very serious about this.
Yeah, you don't expect someone of his like this would be like if Robert Redford was like, okay, I own Spider-Man now and I have to be Spider-Man. Like it's like it's like
dude, this is pure camp. This is camp.
It's like this is how he's gonna go. This is to the majority of people under the age of like 50 years old. This is how Warren Beatty's going to be remembered is as the autistic guy who would not let go of the Dick Tracy rights because he convinced himself that one day he's going to get another shot. And I think that's kind of beautiful. I think that's a very way
that would assume enough people even saw these specials and are thinking about it.
I kind of remember them being a little bit. I remember when they aired and like people could not stop talking about it because to most people, like they had no idea that any of this existed. Like that's the thing is the first one came out in 2009, so it was a little bit of like pre-social media. There, I'm sure it was ridiculed when it came out, or at least made fun of on like enthusiast.
I wouldn't even say right. It was treated as this fascinating object.
Yeah, and then this one...
I saw people championing this as like the best movie of 2023.
I think that they're insane in doing a bit. That's just loser irony.
Tedious.
Contrarianism.
It's doing the bit to like like not even a contrarian sort of angle. It's like, yeah, no, this is fascinating, but let's be real. This is a man doing a deep ego, vanity, autistic exercise with himself.
Sure.
This is something that probably shouldn't be seen.
I don't think this should be seen or celebrated, but I do think it should be talked about.
Absolutely.
I got that sense of like autistic guy with nobody filtering the good ideas from the bad comedy from the movie.
Yeah.
Too. Like, did anyone else get that feeling? Like that same kind of like...
Yes.
Because there's a lot of jokes that don't land.
So like it kind of just confirmed for me like what happened there. Because the comedy in the movie is generally pretty bad.
It's really bad. Like most of it doesn't...
There's a lack of timing.
Most of it doesn't land or it's like mumbled in the background. The mixing is really weird.
Yeah, I find that's a really common thing with misguided comedy is having the lines just kind of tossed off like half in the background without a solid sense of timing and delivery.
Which to me, because it's fucking Al Pacino. Like that guy can make reading the phone book funny.
Yeah.
He talked about a woman's butt for 10 seconds and it became a meme. Like that to me just reflects purely on Beatty, where it's like he doesn't know how to direct people to be I don't think anyone that was working on this movie had any idea what they were making, including Warren Beatty, especially Warren Beatty. Like, because it's a bizarre tonal mismatch, it's a bizarre aesthetic mismatch, and yet it's certainly compelling. Like we've spent more time talking about like the the person of Warren Beatty than we have any other element of this thing, because the minute that you find out about that, you can't stop thinking about it. And that was, to me, the first time I heard about the special when it came out, was it instantly shot up to be the most compelling thing, not only about the character of Dick Tracy, but about Warren Beatty as a person, because it's human, but it's like the ugly kind of human that you don't really want to see, but you can't look away from. Like it's watching someone have a fit in public.
It's an interesting. It's not a good movie, but it's an interesting artifact.
Exactly. Like when I watch the specials in particular, it's like rubber. I'm not watching them. I'm rubbernecking. You know, I'm like, what?
Totally.
Yeah. Doing
and you can tell, like, Malton and Mankiewicz are just like
they don't know
baffled,
what to do.
But he's Warren Beatty, and they're going to do him a favor, I guess.
Like, what are you going to say no to Warren Beatty?
Yeah, because he's still. It's not like he's.
Well, I was born in 1991, so it'd be kind of easy for me to say no to Warren Beatty. But I guess if you're like a Leonard Maltin or a third generation Hollywood guy like Mankiewicz,
I think even part of that is that it's like outside of this, he seems very cogent. It's not like he's had a psychotic break, you know. It's not like he's like Joker cuckoo crazy. He's just obsessed. He's just obsessed in a very fanboy way.
He's just that combination of tism and ego.
Yeah. Where
and actor brain.
Actor brain.
And
also,
actor brain.
Yes.
I can totally see how he can sell someone on the idea of like, oh, we're gonna do an interview. It'll be fun. It'll be kind of avant-garde. It'll be new age Hollywood. It's an idea, man. You know, it's like there's something there. And I get how you could sucker these two guys into doing that. I just don't know how you do it
especially
twice.
Ben Mankiewicz.
I'm more confused how it happened twice.
He is truly, the most like actor brained, like this is like peak actor brain.
Yeah.
This is like dictionary actor brain. I have a quote from the kid from the movie, the Federal Society freak, and it said it wasn't always clear what he was looking for in regards to Beatty.
Yeah,
he doesn't really tell anyone what he's thinking. He just wants it to feel right, and that's like that really comes across that he wasn't totally had a vision, but it was like, you know how it is where it's like parts of it are vaguely defined or contradictory with guys like this, but also he couldn't communicate it to the people around him, I think.
To a
and that's why like the performances are kind of such a mess.
That is knowing what to do and like not being able to communicate why a performance is bad, but you just know it's not right. That is tism maxing like crazy.
And that might also explain why he has to do so many takes. It's because he can't establish what he wants up front.
He needs to be able to choose.
Or he doesn't quite understand what he wants till he thinks he sees. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to make a movie, but
I would love to see a like 2-3 hour YouTube like deep dive into these specials.
Oh.
Like I need someone to get like super autistically fixated who is competent at like YouTube video.
More so than that,
essay shit. I need to know more.
We need Quentin Reviews to do a 9-hour video on.
More so than that, Mr. Warren Beatty, I would like to write the next Dick Tracy special, and I would like to. I think because you're getting
yes.
old, I have the perfect idea, which is that we do kind of like the Dark Knight Returns take on Dick Tracy. I want to do like a very Frank Miller, like aging Dick Tracy in a world where the color is kind of fading out of the world take on Dick Tracy. We can shoot it in your backyard.
Aging, he's gonna. By the time he needs to renew the rights again, he will be 100 years old.
I don't give a shit, man. We'll make this happen. I will wear a hazmat suit so that like my farts don't fucking kill him. Like we will shoot this shit, my man, in your backyard.
He's gonna be in like a retrofuturistic 30s mobility scooter.
Yeah, he's gonna be in like the thick ass, like, you know,
he's gonna be,
you know, in the armor.
He's gonna be hooked up to a machine that like IV feeds him the blood of infants.
Actually, I take that back. I don't want to do a Dark Knight Returns take. I want to do like the God Emperor of Mankind, Dick Tracy, where it's the far future And
10,000 years in the future.
It's 10,000 years in the future, and Dick Tracy is merged with his pastel yellow throne as Earth fades.
No, dude,
And-
he's become a giant pomegranate.
Well, then they sacrifice thousands of pomegranates every single day so that he can continue to live, like the psychers that are sacrificed to the god.
And one
Emperor.
blueberry.
And one
blueberry.
And
Because sometimes you need a blueberry.
But even though his body is faded,
Who's this Duncan, Idaho?
his mind is still. This is 40K. This isn't dude.
Oh, I thought you said, for some reason I thought you said God Emperor. I thought dude.
No, you're good. I don't let the 40K autism out very often. But yeah, we have him on his God Emperor throne. It's like that photo, the painting of the God Emperor on his throne where he's just like a husk. And he's just, people come to him and they want solutions. It's like Hyperion, where people just go on pilgrimages to learn the wisdom of Dick Tracy by sacrificing a pomegranate on his pastel yellow throne, for which he sees all but can touch none.
He's just muttering and rambling and talking about how you can't punch 7 guys at once.
He's just fucking losing his mind. And you have like you make it like a character drama, so like each character has you get a little vignette of who they were before they came on their pilgrimage to Dick Tracy, and what they will do with the knowledge that Dick Tracy has given them. Warren,
You're really selling me on reading Hyperion, actually.
Warren, calm. I haven't read it yet. I need to finish this really shitty Tarzan book that I've been reading. That's really bad, man. I really did not need to know how sexually aroused Tarzan gets looking at gorillas.
Can we talk about Madonna a little
Sure.
bit? Because she kind of reworked her stage persona, her persona, and rebranded a bit around her character in this movie. She had a brief public fling with Warren Beatty, which maybe was cooked up for publicity. A lot of those
Totally
things
real.
are.
Totally legit.
Madonna, I could see Madonna. Madonna has bad taste in men.
I could
That's
see
the
it going
thing.
either way. I'm just saying, like,
I could see it going either way, because she also, remember when she dated Vanilla Ice?
Oh God! Wait, yeah, that did happen.
Did not know about
She
that.
dated Vanilla Ice, and more recently she's dating like some.
Well,
like,
that was like he was like in the sex book, right?
he's in the sex book, yeah.
He's like getting his dick sucked.
He's
Sex
the
book?
guy in the sex. Madonna released like a series of like erotic photography of her having sex with men, and the guy in the erotic photography is Vanilla Ice, so you can see like Madonna fucking Vanilla. It's disgusting. I hate it. I hate Madonna's taste in men. I think she's dating like some like 25-year-old black guy now. It's like she's like doing like the Cher thing where you get into like really young black guys as you approach death.
Oh, I found a really shitty PDF of it.
Yeah, Madonna's dating some guy named Akeem Morris, who is was born in 1996. Jesus Christ, dude.
yeah.
Is a Jamaican
Wow.
soccer player who is just getting that bag. Yeah, she's 66 years old dating a 28-year-old. Hell yeah. Queen.
But she incorporated like the kind of 30s lounge singer pinup girl aesthetic
Yeah.
into her kind of that era's rework. She had like a bunch of tie-in stuff from the movie on her Blonde Ambition tour, and we just found this out. We're recording
Yeah, found this out.
the soundtrack albums, because they got Stephen Sondheim to write a bunch of songs for her to sing in this movie, and she released a soundtrack album called "I'm Breathless," the songs from and inspired by the movie Dick Tracy. But one of the songs that debuted and recorded, at least in like you could buy it on a CD form, was Vogue.
Which-
Yeah,
Yeah,
Vogue is on that album.
Do you guys know?
It's not
like,
from
how-
Exotica. It's not from True Blue. It is not. No, it was on the tie-in soundtrack album for Dick Tracy. Is where one of her biggest hits, Vogue, is from.
Do you guys know how huge like that Vogue relaunched?
Yeah,
Madonna's
I am
career.
very aware of how big Vogue is.
Vogue era
Madonna was based on the iconography of this movie.
That's insane to me. 'Cause when we did the episode on Vogue for our TGOV thing, me and Spencer just kind of assumed it was her being a little bit of a fag hag, because that was kind of in the 90s, was to be like it was to take like a tasteful look back at like, you know, gay club culture. It was in those kind of like, you know, middle 90s years where you had like the house music that was kind of remixing a lot of like Studio 54 club music get really big. And so I just assumed, you know,
and it was that too.
The song, and it was that too, don't get me wrong, but the song itself like mentions a lot of like stars who would have been period appropriate for the time Dick Tracy takes place. And I just assumed it was her trying to like appeal to the same type of men that like watch The Birdcage. But no, it was even crazier than that.
Also, I found this interesting. Madonna was in a couple movies I've never heard of up to this point, and then after this, she was in A League of Her Own and Evita, which were pretty big.
I need to see Evita.
But she petitioned for this role. Like, she like called Warren Beatty and begged for this role, and they offered it to Faye Dunaway and Isabelle Adjani, and they turned it down before they finally went with Madonna. If
Isabelle Adjani was in this movie, women on Twitter would not shut the fuck up about Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
And it would be insufferable. They would be posting pictures of her and be like, "Oh my god, she's so mother cunt brat."
What was Isabelle Adjani doing in 1990?
Not Dick Tracy.
Clearly not Dick Tracy. I want to see if she like turned this down for like another project. Just out of my own like curiosity. No, she just did like a documentary in 1990. Huh. So there was she just looked at this project. She was like, "No, thanks."
No. Madonna took scale for this movie.
Oh, so she thought this was going to be her Star Wars.
She took scale. She got $1,440 a week apparently to be in this movie because she just wanted a high profile movie. But she made this is not well sourced, but she made like $5 million off the soundtrack.
Okay, so she did.
Yeah,
she probably. I mean, you said the movie turned like an okay profit.
Warren Beatty got like $9 million and 10% of revenues, but Disney was solidly in the hole for this movie until the international market and home video.
That makes sense because I do
correction to my earlier point, suspecting why Isabelle Adjani may have turned this down. No, because I completely forgot she is like the co-star of Ishtar. So maybe she was also seeing some whack shit with Warren Beatty on the set of Ishtar. And it was like, I don't want to work with that guy again. He is incredibly autistic about this comic.
I kind of like him now more than I did before.
I do find him oddly endearing.
Yeah. So I guess we're all recommending the Dick Tracy specials.
He had crew work on this. There's like 6 people attached to VFX on this one.
It's insane how long the credits are for what the fuck this is.
Mind you, this whole special is less than 30 minutes long. It is bizarre. You can log it on Letterboxd, which is insane.
You can log them both on Letterboxd.
You can log, yeah. This movie had there were 3 VFX operators that worked on Dick Tracy Zooms In. The one of them worked on Avengers Endgame.
He probably has better. Actually, no, not even probably. I know he had a much better experience working on Dick Tracy Zooms In than working for Kevin Feige or Victoria Alonso. Wait, there's something. Wait, go back to click on the composer, because I remember I watched this with my boyfriend, and I don't know if it was this. He pointed out the composer, and the composer it's the DP. Wait, look at the DP. No, it's the Dick Tracy special, not Dick Tracy Zooms In. Oh. The like code DP on that is I'm gonna butcher his last name. It's Emmanuel Lubezki, who's like Cuarón and fucking Iniartu's like cinematographer. He shot Tree of Life.
He worked with Michael Mann on
What
Ali.
the fuck?
Yeah.
He shot the Alfonso
Why is the guy who
Cuarón-
shot a little princess shooting Dick Tracy special?
That's insane. He shot Sleepy Hollow for Burton.
What is going on?
That's insane.
Excuse me, he shot The Cat in the Hat as well, honey.
He did shoot the. I've never seen the Cat in the Hat though.
He shot The Cat in the Hat.
Somebody should have shot the Cat in the Hat. He's a menace. Hold on. I have beta discovery.
Oh God, what?
So I found the Madonna sex book and opened a really shitty quality PDF of it just out of curiosity. And I was just idly scrolling through it and I found a text page and I just want to read it to you.
All right. Story time.
Sex with the young can be fun if you're in the mood. If you're feeling impatient or you feel like you want someone else to take charge, do not have sex with someone inexperienced. But it can be really arousing. One of the best experiences I ever had was with a teenage boy. I think he was a virgin.
Oh no! Oh no!
Madonna's
He
mustard,
hardly.
dude?
No, hold on. He hardly had any pubic hair. He was Puerto Rican.
No. Okay,
Oh,
was-
God. Oh,
He was
God.
uncircumcised.
No more,
He lived in my building
more.
and he used to come over to my
No.
apartment all the time and just watch me put on my makeup and get ready to go out. He hung around me all the
Is
time.
this a throwback? Is this like her?
That's a.
Is she also
He-
underage? Or is this mustard?
He never
I
went
don't
to
think
school,
so.
so I started giving him reading assignments. I'd have him read out loud, like
Oh,
Henry
God.
Miller's The Tropic of Cancer or something really arousing. Whenever he got ready to leave, he'd kiss me goodbye, but the kisses started getting more and more daring on his part. and I
No,
just
dude,
went with it.
I don't want to hear anymore. Oh my god.
Then one day,
Jesus.
his parents kicked him out of his apartment, and he wanted to know if he could spend the night at my house. I told him he could, but I only had one bed.
Can we pull up a Venom fanfic instead?
So we both got in it, and I
I don't
couldn't
like
sleep.
that. That's the thing is, I like Madonna, and now I don't anymore.
We're canceling Madonna.
I couldn't sleep, so I had sex with him, and it was really awesome because he was so young and so in wonderment of it all. He was fearless. He would do anything. He wasn't very big. He was just a baby. See, I'm not a size queen, but it was excellent.
God.
He went down on me, and I think I had an orgasm in 2 seconds. I was so turned on. It was probably the most erotic sex I ever had.
I'm leaving. I hope you know I'm walking away. Like I am in the other room. I am fucking out.
But he gave me crabs. That's what you get. So you win some and you lose some.
What the hell? What the? You don't end the story about raping an underage boy like that.
I had a high opinion of Madonna. I like.
I'm gonna assume it was 18. I
I
hope.
don't think I didn't.
I am going to pray, get on my fucking knees and pray to God. This is entirely fiction. This didn't actually happen.
I don't want Madonna to be my dude. I love fucking.
I don't want Madonna to do Diddy out of shit.
They took MJ from
Oh,
us, dude. Do you know how
no.
many fucking pop stars that I have left? Like none. Like dude, fucking Jesus Christ, man. I'm putting my foot down. Watch something else. Fucking Jesus
No.
Christ.
Yes.
I'm
There's
with
no better way to wake up in the
we're not
morning
doing
than with my
this.
lover's
No.
cock inside of me.
fucking.
Usually he
Jesus
takes me
Christ.
from behind. This is my favorite position because I can lie there
I'm
pretending I'm
kicking
sleeping.
you from the call. I am
I
kicking
this.
you from the
I
call.
second this.
Okay.
I stand
I'm
with
done.
Nicole.
Ah.
I'm beating the misogyny allegations, and I'm fucking standing with Nicole on this one. We need to listen to women.
You need to. I'm reading a woman's
Dude,
words.
just not that one.
Nobody. She describes this as awesome.
Oh my god, dude!
Oh my god.
Watch something else, Stu.
Anyway, watch something else. My pick for watch something else is The Third Man.
Mine is The Second Man. Mine is The
Third Man.
Me and Stu are gonna run after this.
Directed by Carol Reed, starring Joseph Cotton
girl?
and Orson Welles.
Wait, did a girl direct?
No, it's just a dude named Carol.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
But just really good noir movie, real gut punch
It is.
ending, great performances, beautiful looking, just incredible use of contrast and light. Awesome movie. Strong recommend.
Nicole?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really going for a noir pick. I'm going with another movie. This is actually one of my another favorite movie of mine. This is a 5-star Nicole certified classic. I am mostly just relating this on the basis of production design. This has very strong adult elements. This is kind of infamous for its content and its nudity. It was a very controversial film upon release. I'm talking about The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover by Peter Greenaway, which features, among other things, Helen Mirren in some of the most like gorgeous outfits you have ever seen, including a sheer dress where you can just see her like, I mean, she's naked in the movie a lot, but like you could just see her tits. Beautiful tits, that woman. Helen Mirren, I mean, like God bless her, even her, you know, older age, just the woman has a great rack. Like, wonderful actress, of course, but like, oh my God, she's just drop dead gorgeous. The thing with the Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover, it's like Peter Greenaway's like best known movie. It's kind of his signature film, but it is like not very available. Like, it's not on streaming anywhere. You kind of just have to buy the physical release, partly because it was kind of one of the last movies that was would have been subjected to the X rating before they had the NC-17. It opted for like the unrated release, but like was heavily censored when it came out because it has a very infamous ending. That's
No spoilers.
got a really great funny line that I will not quote here because it spoils the movie. But if you watch The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover, you will understand why this is a personal favorite of mine. Also just has like speaking, like the main reason I was thinking about this in relation to Dick Tracy is just like the production design. There's actually this one scene where Helen Mirren's like, she moves from like one, and it's like shot kind of like a stage play a bit, but she moves from like one room to another, and her whole, like the color of her dress completely changes to match the environment of the different room. It's gorgeous. It's breathtaking. And it's quite a little nasty movie too. This one's for the sickos. So
I did legally acquire a copy. I've been meaning to watch this since I like saw it while scrolling Netflix like 15 years ago.
Oh, do it. Yeah. No, do it. It is. Oof. Oh boy.
Cole, what's yours?
Mine might be the shortest watch something else recommendation of all time. It's like less than 10 minutes. And that is...
I feel like you've got to give a feature length watch something else.
I'm fuck you.
No rules. It's okay.
That is The Great Piggy Bank Robbery. I forgot the actual official title because I just call it Duck Tracy.
Aw, sounds cute.
You've never seen this Looney Tunes? It's a parody of Dick Tracy. It's a Daffy Duck short. It's one of the more famous of the Bob Clampett era of Daffy Duck. It's got Mel Blanc as Daffy Duck, of course, and it's directed by Bob Clampett. One of my favorite of all the Looney Tunes shorts because it's got a lot of jokes for me in it. It was also, if you want something a little longer, it was actually parodied in a episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold, which is funny because there's a joke in The Great Piggy Bank Robbery where there's a character called Batman who's just an anthropomorphic bat in a zoot suit that's a gangster. And then, of course, you have, Batman proper. But yeah, very funny little 7.5 minute short film there. And it's legally, I'm counting it as a film. It was aired theatrically, admittedly in front of a different movie, but it still counts. We take those.
All right.
And you can get it on Letterboxd, so it's a film.
Okay. All right. Nicole, would you be kind enough to thank our most recent patrons from the past month?
Yes, I would. And I will be reading off the patrons who have decided to give us money since July 31st, because we are recording this on August 31st. So, thank you to Anthony C., Murdered Waifu, Amy Harper, LES, Fizzy Cola, One Man Dust Bowl, Liana Gotsingarova, John Doe, Eddie Too Sweaty, Null Entry, Solid John, The Count Von Curdles, Dick Genital, Kay, and thank you to Adrian V. Naja, who came in at the $3 tier yesterday on August 30th.
Thank you all so much for supporting the show. It makes a big difference. If you would also like to support the show and have your name etched forever in the walls of Valhalla or whatever it is, and get access to exclusive Patreon bonus episodes, commentaries, other fun things, patreon.com/Marvelous Death.
Join the Discord, dude.
And join the Discord. Oh yeah, links in the description. Thank you all so much for listening. We will see you again next week. So we'll see you then, and you have yourself a great night. Bye.
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 He was surrounded by a round-the-clock assortment of goons, pimps, shills, confident tricksters, flip-flam men, and later-jawed gunmen that responded to his every urge. And by degrees, his empire grew. An empire that fashioned itself into an unseemly replica of a king's court, where a jester could be put to death with a slow wink of a Neapolitan eyelid. At a whim, he could bring a whole neighborhood to its knees, with a particularly unpleasant visit from one of his squads of Amici the Amici, or Friends of Friends. The territory he came to control with an iron hand was not called the Carnival of Deaths for nothing.
Art is dead. Art is dead.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
Look,
Shout out to Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Shout out to Jim.
Hi, Jim.